So, as you know, today we're going to be talking about dancing through myeloma. This is going to be a live exercise demo. And the reason that we chose this topic, it was actually recommended to us by a patient. So I hear your feedback, I value your feedback, and I try to make things happen for you. Somebody had reached out to me and knows Kim from the classes that she gives and said, Kim is so wonderful. She'd be a great presenter, and I'd love to get you in contact with her. So Kim and I got in contact, and Kim was so kind to be able to volunteer her time and come share some of her joy and talents with us. So I'm looking forward to be able to moving with you. I'm looking forward to moving with you today in this special way. It's now my pleasure to introduce Kim to you. For most of her career, Kim has been a professional artist with a concentration on murals, commissions, and interior finishes. From a very young age, she loved drawing from nature and experimenting with a wide variety of art media. In addition to her love of art, she has a passion for health and healthy movement. With a background in clinical care coordination, meditation instruction, and health coaching, she is committed to providing accessible and inclusive movement classes that meet the needs of all students. She's been teaching yoga since 1995 and has seen its ability to transform lives. Teaching chair-based yoga to special populations has also become a big part of her professional career. In 2015, she began teaching Pam's class at the Norris Cotton Cancer Center. Based on the Lebed method, this movement class is primarily for women with lymphedema as a result of surgery and/or chemotherapy. She's been the visual arts specialist for the Arts and Humanities Department at Dartmouth Health since 2020 and enjoy guiding inpatients and outpatient groups through therapeutic art experiences. With a degree in fine arts, she loves teaching art to non-artists. She believes that everyone has the creative potential, and she enjoys helping people tap into that healing that playing with art can bring. When she's not teaching, practicing yoga, or making art, you can find her traveling, at home, or gardening, hanging out with her two challenging rescue dogs, taking horseback lessons, and trying to find wonder in the smallest of life's details. Kim, I'm so excited to participate in this with you, and thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you.
Thanks so much for having me. I had forgotten that this was recommended from a participant. I'm like trying to dry tears because we've had, a couple of folks recently who have made these outside connections with outside groups, and it's just really lovely when worlds collide, when people go through challenging health things or world things, and our networks get woven together in these really interesting ways. And yeah, so that's very, very nice. And so I just want to share that I am not a dancer. I was one of those kids that was kindly asked to leave the dance class as a child. They're like, I think she's better in gymnastics or some solo sport. Like, I'm not a dancer and I'm not a choreographer. And I'm lazy. I am so lazy. And so that's why I teach. I wasn't raised in a home that was super active. And then as I got into my teen years, I started gaining weight and getting kind of depressed and sad about the state of my body. So I then got into exercise and realized how beneficial it is for your mind. And so let's see, what else do I want to say? When I started doing and teaching yoga is when things really transformed for me, as far as getting out of your brain and into your body. And that somatic connection has been really powerful for me and also for my participants, that when we're actually present, simply breathing in, simply breathing out, we can get out of that day-to-day chatter. Like, we've all heard the benefits of mindfulness and meditation and movement, but it's easier said than done. And I feel like I teach best what I need to learn most. And so that's why I love teaching art. I love teaching yoga, meditation, and I do care coordination. So I love doing advanced directives with people because I have these passions of helping people feel better in their own skin. And so that's kind of what I do. And let's see. And so I'll incorporate what we do for Pam's class, which Audrey spoke about. Pam's class is primarily for women who've had breast cancer and who've had breast cancer surgery, which in the olden days used to include lots of lymphadenectomies, where they would surgically remove chains of the lymph nodes. And thank goodness that is happening less and less as breast cancer treatment and diagnosis improves. We're seeing less and less lymphedema. It does happen, and it happens in other populations, but this class was designed by a woman who was a breast cancer patient and nurse, and her husband was a physician and a research physician who verified this study of these simple techniques to open and reduce inflammation. So open the lymph node passages, reduce inflammation in the extremities in a safe way. And so the Lebed method has certain prescribed movements in the beginning for the upper lymphatic system, and then some for the lower lymphatic system. And so I'll introduce you to a couple of those, the opening ones, and they're great for anyone. It's mostly head, neck, shoulder stretching, opening the chest. And you can do these sitting or standing. And then we'll do a little bit of diaphragmatic breathing. And as you know, breathing fully is so incredibly important. And especially for folks who are going through cancer treatments or diagnosis, getting that full breath, especially for folks who are on steroids, who have been on steroids, it can just monkey with your oxygen and your red blood cells. So what else do I want to say about that? Oh, and the community. So Pam's class, it's a weekly class done by Zoom, and I've been teaching it for quite a while now. And we've built this really lovely community. And so that's one of the things that's really special about, exercising together, like in a space, even in a virtual space. We just laugh, and we don't take ourselves so seriously. Nobody's paying attention to the way we're dancing. And I just let go. So I don't take it too seriously, and I hope you won't either. But if you'll join me, let's come to standing, and I'll turn my music on and get all my screens organized here. Okay. Just gonna make sure you can hear my music okay, and that you can hear my voice. All right, so come to standing and take a nice foot, like a hip distance stance. Root down through your feet, lengthen up through the crown of the head. And it's totally fine to do this seated as well. Just gonna turn that down a notch. All right, and so diaphragmatic breathing, we usually think of belly breathing, but I want you to think of whole torso breathing. I'll take off my ID. And so not just into the belly, like low ribs to hips, but also into the side body and back body. So rooting down, let the belly, let the chest expand, close the eyes. And then as you exhale, imagine you're blowing out a bubble. So we're slowing down our out breath. And breathe in so deeply that you feel the arms move, but you're not shrugging the breath in. Relax the face, relax the jaw, relax the shoulders, even soften the knees. sometimes you'll notice that you're kind of letting the breath be tight in certain areas or stuck. See if you can breathe into any areas that feel kind of that stickiness or constriction. Let's do 2 or 3 more cycles of breath. And then open the eyes, shake it out a little bit. And then we'll do our neck stretches. So the first one, we're just looking, so same hip distance stance, knees soft, glutes relaxed. Just look over one shoulder. It just opens up some of these lymph nodes, keeping the heart lifted, and then look over the other shoulder. And then back to center, and then a nice firm squeeze, chin down. Keep the shoulders from rolling forward. So breathing in, breathing out, look over one shoulder. Breathing in, and then out. Back through center, and then down. And then 2 more times. We do all of these movements in the beginning 4 times. And notice if you start locking the legs and locking the hands, getting tense, just find that looseness. And then we'll go side to side, same pattern, one side to the other side, and you can create a little bit more sensation, and then down. So you can create more sensation by moving the opposite arm, see what's going to feel good. Let's do 2 more. All right. I think that may have only been 1 more, but I'm a little nervous. All right, so you would think I hadn't done this 1,000,001 times. So big inhale, shrug up, and then turn the fingers to face forward, press the heels of the palms down, lift up through the top of the head. So big shrug up, roll the shoulders back, palms down, squeeze. Inhale, roll up, back, down, press. 1 more time, forward, back, down, press. And next one, we do fingertips to the tops of the shoulders. If you have kind of crispy shoulder joints, you can do fingers to the collarbone. But if it feels okay, it's exhale down, inhale together and up, and exhale back and down. Inhale and exhale. 2 more. And then switch direction. And if you get tired, you can just move the elbows, keep the fingertips on the collarbones. Let's do 1 more. Nice. And then the next one really gets some of these brachial nerves and some of the other nerves in the forearm. So a little bit of a wider stance. And then a big reach, press the heel of the palm so you're drawing the fingers back toward you until you feel a nice stretch here. And then we're going to wrap the fingers around. If any of you have done occupational therapy, that's a pretty familiar one. So big press, wrap the pinky around, a nice firm clasp, pull it in. So press, wrap, pull. 1 more, press, wrap, pull. Other side. You might notice one side feels different than the other, a little bit more nerve sensation or less. And let's do 1 more. Nice. And then this one is another one. It can be a little bit, if you have tender knuckles, wrists, shoulders, take it easy. So I'll show you kind of the the more intense version first, and then we can modify. So it's fingers and palms to touch. Torso is going to stay upright. Inhale, interlace the hands. Exhale, press the hands down. Bend the knees. Inhale, rise all the way up. Press the palms up toward the sky. And then imagine you're wiping the walls on the way down. And so it's inhale. And if fingers and palms to touch doesn't work, you can just press down. You can press up, wipe the walls down. So inhale, interlace waving. Reach up, wipe the walls down. So here and here is fine too. Let's do one more. Just getting some movement there. All right, shake it out a little bit. There are a couple more of the opening exercises that we do for Pam's class, which we won't do today just because it's a little bit abbreviated. But one of the moves is for balance. So you might want to grab your chair if you have a chair. But it's simple high knee marches. So bringing one knee right in front of the hip, flex the foot, engage the belly to help lift. So we're not using all hip flexor. We'll do that 4 times. And then switch. If your balance is feeling pretty steady today, no need to use the chair. And remember to kind of tuck the tail, use the core rather than just the hip flexor. Nice. And shake that out. And then our last kind of important move we do for the upper lymphatic warm-up is it's a simple chin, dragging it across and down to the other side. So nice wide stance, chin to shoulder, squeeze the chin across, over to the other side. And that's it for the most part for the warm-up. That's what we'll do today. And then the first dance we'll do is a seated dance. And let me scooch this back a little bit. Rearranging the furniture here. Oops. Yikes. All right, that's better. I can't scooch this when my computer's on any further back, but it's going to be good enough. Okay, so the moves for this one, it's pretty simple. So you can start hands here, sit at the front of the chair so you get the core nice and engaged, really lift up, feet about hip distance. And then it's just a step and a touch out, touch in, touch out, touch in. And then the other move is like a chorus line move. So it's up, down, kick, down, up, down, kick, down. And then the next move is a out, out, in, out, out, in. And then we add in some arms. Actually, I'm going to turn it this way so you can actually see my feet. I think that'll work. Makes for weird angles, but the artist in me is going to absolutely go crazy with the wonky angles here. It's just wrong, but you'll at least see more of me. That's a little bit better. Okay, so then we'll just add on some more arms like this. So you could do, anything that feels right. And if you're feeling fatigued, you can always sit back and just do smaller movements. There's no need to do big, energetic movements. And I always say for my patients who are going through treatment, sometimes all you can do is get up and get out of bed, and movement feels totally out of range. And so you can just visualize or breathe. Picture yourself moving if moving is actually too challenging for you today. That is totally normal. And all right. So we start with that little step touch. And then chorus line. So up, down, So upset, he fell on the ground. When I see you mad at me, you were such a silly thing. Oh, and then back to step touch, you get really big. Such a silly game we play. It's like a summer's day and night. What is love? What is love? I just want you to be loved. Then you get fancy with that big outhouse. I can feel it in my kiss. It is something I will miss. What is love? What is love? I just want you to be loved. Nice. I'm used to being able to see everyone, so it's strange not to be able to see the participants. All right, so this
You're
next
doing
one,
awesome.
Oh, good. Like, hello, is anybody there? I can't see anybody except me. All right, so the next one, the moves are a simple side to side, like a tick-tock side to side. And then the next move is like a hip, sort of like a do-si-do kind of hip move. And then 1 foot forward, 1 foot back, kind of the same tick-tocking idea. And then we switch direction. And then the moves just get bigger if you want. They can stay little, or you can get really big. And a lot of us actually do really fun, wild, just bananas things because nobody's really looking. And so let your movement just be whatever it is. And don't forget to breathe. I'm all out of breath because apparently I'm not breathing while I do this. I'm talking. Okay. All right. So nice little side to side. Keep the knees really soft here. And a lot of these songs are an 8 count. So if you're a music person, when I look into your it's like 1 and 2. It's like watching the night sky or a beautiful sunrise. Oh, there's so much they hold. And then 1 foot forward, 1 foot back. Like them old stars, I see that you've come so far to be right where you just rocking, are. Just like this is more than enough. How old is your soul? And then nice little switch direction. I won't give up. Still an 8 count. On us, even if the skies get rough, I'm giving you all my love. I'm still looking up. Then back to the front, side to side. You get, like I said, really big. To do some navigating, I'll be here patiently waiting to see what you find. And then you can get big with the stars if you want. Some even fall to the earth. We got in line to learn. God knows we're worth it. Whatever feels good. No, I won't give up. Get alternate arms going. I don't want to be someone who walks away so easily. I'm here to stay and make the difference that I can make. And then switch direction. Our differences, they do a lot to teach us how to use the tools and gifts we got. Yeah, we got a lot at stake. Get funky with the drama. And in the end, you're still my friend. At least we did intend for us to work. We didn't break, we didn't burn. We had to learn how to bend without the world caving in. I had to learn what I got and what I'm not and who I am. And back to side to side. I won't give up on us, even if there's
if the skies get rough, I'm giving you all my love. I'm still looking up.
Excellent. And then this next one I'm particularly proud of. So this one was, there's a really, really nice couple that has a dance studio called 5678, and they do adaptive and different line dances. And so I found this one, and it was just really, really sweet and well done. So, so the moves on this one, it's a cross, cross, down, down, cross, cross, down, down. We do that a few times throughout the song, sort of the repeating theme. And then it's a hand to the side, almost like waitress, and then put it in your pocket. Waitress, put it in your pocket. Waitress, pocket, waitress or waiter, or give me money, put it in my pocket, hand me the money, I'm gonna put it in my pocket. And then it's a same move, then turn it into a side stretch, and then back, and then down, out, side stretch, back, and down. And then we get a little bit bigger. So one hand one way, one hand the other way, sort of hands parallel to the earth going in different direction. Get a nice opening for the side body here. And then you can turn that into like a big spin. You can sort of do all sorts of things here within this type of movement where you can get the arms really flowing. You can get some nice stretches through the side body and the side of the back body as well. And then that move is repeated throughout. But let's okay. So waitress,
Settle down.
pocket. You go faster.
Let loose
or
your
slower.
glow. Come settle down, settle down.
And then
And I
stretch.
feel like for the very first time, love in my arms and the sun in my eyes. I feel safe in the 5 a.m. light. You carry my fears as the heavens set fire.
A couple of these.
Jump into the
Get that bigger
heat,
movement.
spinning on a
Legs
feet.
together.
In a technicolor beat, you and me, caught up in a dream. In a technicolor beat,
And then you can go back to this if you like it.
Come settle
And
down,
turn it in a
settle
circle.
down. Swing me your bones. Come settle down, settle down.
Change direction. You can go
And
back
I
to the
feel
side
like
stretch.
for the very first time, love in my arms and the sun in my eyes. I feel safe in the 5 a.m. light. You carry my fears as the heavens set fire. Jump into the heat, spinning on a feet. In a technicolor beat, you and me, caught up in a dream. In a technicolor beat.
Couple of these. And then this is where we sort of do like a big swirl if you
I can
want.
feel you.
Feels like dramatic.
We be walking on the water. We're moving in a technicolor beat. Moving in a technicolor. Jump into the heat. Spinning on the feet. In a technicolor beat. You and me. Caught up in a dream. In a technicolor beat. To the heat. Spinning on the feet. In a technicolor beat.
Oh, did we get a little heart emoji on there? That's so exciting. So a little heart go up. And then, so this next one is, the next one we do with weights. And so I didn't bring weights, and a lot of times people don't have weights. So you can get anything that's handy, like the little freebie water bottles here in the complementary care program at Dartmouth Hitchcock Medical Center. But the first move, and we do pretty small movements with weights. And so the first one is a bicep move. So the elbow is going to stay tucked in. We're just going to go up and then parallel with the ground. So we don't drop it down. It's real controlled. And it's a squeeze more than lots of weight here. And then the other one is a tricep move. So we keep the head of the shoulder in line with the center of the body, barely bend the elbow, and then it's a squeeze back. So that's where the work is the squeeze back. So it's a barely bend and a squeeze back. And then we do upside down bicycles, and calves. We do a little fly. You can tell I'm not a gym rat either. And let's go. Okay, so we start with a nice stagger stance. And so you really root down. You can do this seated.
So if you're Gregory, let it be your Audrey. Yeah.
3.
Try to tell you how I feel, but I can never work
Just 1.
it out.
6. 7.
Get so caught up and tongue tied up like every time you come around.
And then switch.
All I can say is ooh la la, ooh la la, ooh la la, ooh. Oh, I
Belly
can't help it,
button.
turn me on so bad. Ooh la la, ooh la la, ooh la la, ooh. I just can't stand it, get you off my head. Speechless with every single kiss, the one thing running off my lips is ooh la la, ooh la la, ooh la la, ooh. Ooh la la, ooh la la,
And
ooh
then
la la,
triceps, just
ooh.
1. Switch your stance. So
That push back,
little
rolling on
squeeze.
so slowly. Like we up on my heart and then you're trying to get to know me closely. I try to tell you how I feel, but I can never work it out. Get so caught up and tongue tied up like every time you come around.
Now we're gonna do both.
All I can say is ooh la la, ooh la la, ooh la la, ooh. Oh, I can't help you, turn me on so bad. Ooh la la, ooh la la, ooh la la, ooh. I just can't seem to get you off my head.
And upside down bicycles, alternate.
Every single kiss, the one thing running off my lips is ooh la la, ooh la la, ooh la la, ooh. Ooh la la, ooh la la, ooh la la, ooh.
And then little flies. So soften the knees, go big, and wrap around an imaginary sequoia. Stick your butt out a little bit.
Sounds cliche, but every time you leave, I want you to stay. Don't care if it sounds cliche, but every time I
As
speak,
always, you can make things
all
little.
I can say
And
is
then calves. So feet hip distance, nice
oh,
toes
can't help it,
and toes.
turn me on so ooh la la, ooh la la, ooh la la, ooh. I just can't seem to get
And
you
then we're gonna
off
keep
my
one heel
head.
up,
Speechless,
rock up and down
every
on the
single
other one.
kiss, the one
Pedal with my belly.
running off my lips is ooh la la, ooh la la, ooh la la, ooh la la, ooh la
And
la,
then
ooh
switch.
la la, ooh 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 la la, ooh.
Nice. All right. And usually we pause fairly frequently for a little beverage break. And so I have some tea. So I hope you're staying hydrated out there in Zoom land. And then this next one it's one where we do pretty fast movements. Like the big version of the movements are fast and big, but just like any of these, you can keep them little. You could even do them in a chair. But the ladies on our class get pretty sassy. Yeah, There's one who I'm sure was a jazzercise instructor in another life, or maybe this life. But this one's kind of fun. And so it starts out with just a twist. If anybody's seen Pulp Fiction, I try to use Uma Thurman as my role model in the twist. I'm not sure I'm successful. And then the other moves, it's like a jets, sort of like the jets, 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 jets. So hopefully you guys are musical fans. And then the other move is another 8 count. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then there's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And so you'll recognize this song. It's a Taylor Swift song that some of you may recognize. But those are the main moves, is the sort of the twist, and then up, 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 up. And then it's a shake, 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 shake kind of. And it gets fast, and it's a longer song. So take it at your own pace. And I'm just making sure I'm on track time-wise. This will be our last one. And let's do about half of this one. And then we'll do just a bit of a slow one to slow it down. Okay, so start with that little twist.
I see I'm too late. Got nothing in my brain. That's what people say. That's what people say. I go on too many dates, but I can't make them stay. At least that's what people say. That's what people say.
And then here's the jets, my favorite part.
Can't stop, won't stop moving. It's like I got this music.
I forgot the most important part.
It's gonna be alright. 'Cause the player's gonna play. And the haters gonna hate. Baby, I'm just gonna shake, 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 shake. I shake it out. It's gonna break, 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 break. And the baby's gonna bake, 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 baby. I'm just gonna shake, 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 shake. I shake it out. I never miss a beat. I'm lighting on my feet, and that's what they don't see.
Again,
That's
get
what they
bigger
don't
if you want.
see. I'm dancing on my own. I'll make the moves up as I go. And that's what they don't know. That's what they don't know. But I keep cruising. Can't stop, won't stop grooving. It's like I got this music in my mind saying it's gonna be alright. 'Cause the player's gonna play, 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 play. And the haters gonna hate, 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 baby. I'm just gonna shake, 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 shake. I shake it out. Breaker's gonna break, 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 break. And the baker's gonna bake, 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 baby. I'm just gonna shake, 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 shake. I shake it out. 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 I shake it out.
So this song goes on. And so we'll like wrap that one up there. I love that song though. But then we'll just do a little slower song. Okay, cooling it down. So just a nice little step touch. So step.
3 little birds out on my window, and they told me I don't need to worry. Summer came like cinnamon, so sweet. Little bells double dutch on the concrete.
And then a little wave.
Sometimes we got it wrong, but it's alright. The more things seem to change, the more they stay the same. Don't
And
you
then hands forward and step back.
put your records on, tell me your
Ball to the
favorite
back.
song. You go ahead, let your head down. Stop breathe. Just go ahead, let your head down. You're gonna find yourself somewhere, somehow.
Then we'll just do a nice little stretch. So wide stance. You can do hands to head. Just get a nice little side stretch, bending one knee. And then straighten that leg, then the other knee. Side stretch. And then we'll sweep the hands behind the back. Soft interlace, roll the shoulders. And then lift the
Sometimes we feel afraid, but it's alright.
down.
The more you stay the same,
And then look up.
the more they seem
And then
to
last but not
change.
least, we do a couple OT exercises.
Put your records on.
Gotta attach my volume back down. There we go. So press the heels, the palms forward. Make strong fists. Press your knuckles down. And then go out about 25 degrees. Strong fists, knuckles down. Go wide. Strong fists, knuckles down. And then go down low. Strong fists, knuckles down, circles forward. Palms down. Press it down opposite way. And then shake it out a couple times. And let's call that a day. And then usually, so the class is usually an hour long. And we usually end the class with a closing circle, like a healing circle. And so I welcome you to do this as well. And so we usually share, the women share anyone they'd like to put in this healing circle. When we were in person, we actually held hands. It's a non-denominational healing circle and affirmation, just got to put that out there. But basically, we either say out loud or think about anybody we'd love to surround in love, light, and healing. And we just say, may we be safe and free from danger. May we be healthy and free from pain. May we be joyful, and may we live with ease. And that's basically what we call Pam's class, or Le Bed. But yeah, so.
Okay, well, thank you so much. I had so much fun
Good.
dancing along and just being able to participate, something different than what we're used to. And just really exciting to be able to participate. One of my favorite things about these is that they're recorded, so we get to do them again and again and again with you. So thank you again for showing us the different tempos, the different moves. It was a good time, and I hope my audience had a good time as well.
Oh, I hope so as well.
I invite my audience. I don't know if you can see the little emojis that are going up in reactions to you. I invite my audience to ask their questions if they have any. I know this is a little bit different where we're not asking myeloma-based questions, but if you have any questions for Kim about herself and her career, about dancing, about movement, about exercise, etc., feel free to ask those questions. I'll give my audience a little bit of time to ask. Kim, in the beginning, you talked about, well, in your bio, I guess, I talked about the fact that you've been doing yoga since 1995 and you've seen how it changes people's lives. Do you mind going a little bit further into that? And what is it about yoga that changed people's lives? And what is it about their lives that you see change?
Oh, what a great question. So, what it is about yoga is it's mindful movement, like you're pairing movement with breath and you're following cues and you're moving left, right, up, down with inhale, exhale. And so your brain has all of these different directions. And there's no room for the chit chat of what about the phone bill? What about, did I feed the dog? I hope the dog's not getting, in my case, I hope the dog hasn't bitten anyone lately. Yeah. And so what I find is that aspect of the brain health of there's no room for the chit chat, but also yoga hits on balance, strength, flexibility, proprioception, interoception, it asks you to feel things more deeply than lift 12 pounds with your biceps, you know. It's really different. It's much more fine-tuned. And most of us don't want to be that present with our bodies. We really are much more comfortable thinking about the stuff our brain wants us to be anxious about. And so it's a really challenging practice because you're constantly in touch with your brain and you realize, oh, wow, my brain does
Mhm.
this thing. And so, um, but it also helps. There's no cheating in yoga. Like, you do things on both sides and you're asked to do something in a kind of a mindful way. And since you're really noticing, you see where there's an asymmetry or where there's an imbalance or where ordinarily you wouldn't. And so it just changes things. Um,
Do you
and
see people's, just a follow-up question on that, do you see people's ability to manage their emotions change, or what is it about them that you see change?
definitely, definitely. So I teach at a yoga studio at Dartmouth College, where it's really high stress, and students who come in at the very end of their time at Dartmouth were like, "Why didn't I come here sooner?" And students who come at the very first weeks of Dartmouth who stay, there's such a huge difference.
Mm,
And so, um, and participants who have started out classes, like especially my older adults and cancer center patients, when I do the chair yoga, start out very anxious and tired and scared of not doing it right, to not
mm,
caring if I do it right, just showing up is half the dang battle. Um, and that other people are in the same boat. And then sooner or later, there's progress, or they go to their doctor's office and they say, "Oh, your balance has improved. What's changed?"
mm.
You know?
I love it. I love to hear that. And I love too that it's kind of all walks of life. And you even talked about chair yoga could be an option. We've had different chair yoga sessions. I love that it's not just for the elite athlete, but it's for anybody. So thank you for that. A
And
question
any
here.
size,
Oh,
like
sorry, go ahead.
any size, shape. Like, I love teaching adaptive. So size, shapes in a wheelchair. One of the best yoga teachers on the planet right now is a man who's a quadriplegic.
Mm,
He teaches incredible
fascinating.
yoga classes without being able to move his limbs. And to me, like, there's so much to be learned there.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. And a couple
So one of the
questions.
questions here says, what about regular classes that you host? Who are they available for? Oh, who are they available for and how do you participate in them?
Sure. So I have a teaching platform where I teach private classes, but I also teach here for the Dartmouth Hitchcock Medical Center. So it's mostly uh, patients and caregivers. I teach for the Aging Resource Center and for the Cancer Center. But then I do teach private classes as well. So private group classes on my own teaching platform.
And
Um,
what is that teaching platform?
oh, sure. It's Flourish Art and Yoga Studios. So
Okay.
yeah, so you can look
We
at
send resources after, so
oh,
if you
great.
wouldn't mind, I would add,
Definitely.
I'll add that to the resources that we shared today.
I always
Miguel.
hesitate with like self-promotion. I'm
Oh
like,
no, it's okay. I mean, people are asking, so we might as well give them the answer. Just let me know.
sure,
Afterwards, we'll coordinate so I can make sure that I get the URL right.
sure.
What about finding motivation when you don't feel like moving?
Yeah. I find when I don't feel like moving, just putting on clothes is
Mm,
a little bit of movement. And then I go, do I feel better with clothes? Yes. Do I feel better if I actually put shoes on? Maybe. Do I
mm,
feel better if I actually go outside? Yes, I do. And then by the time I get those three questions out of my mouth and my brain, like, I forgot how sluggish I was in the beginning. So I don't even think, do I want to go to an exercise class or do I want to do a thing? I'm like, oh, if I'm feeling sluggish and I don't feel like doing anything, just do one little teeny tiny thing that's going to get some momentum going. Um,
And also being adapting, right? Because for example, I'm training for a half marathon, and this morning I was supposed to go on a run, and some things had happened last night. I didn't get as much sleep as I wanted. And as I went out today, I'm like, I'm not running. I'm
Yeah, me
so
too.
tired. I'm so achy. So I just walked, and
Yeah.
it was interesting that I had to fight the battle in my head of, you're not doing enough. You should be running. And I'm like, no, I'm taking better care of my body by walking. I don't mean to make this too personal, but I just
No,
love the approach of like being flexible and being kind to yourself as you try to figure out what movement serves you best for that day. Would you agree with that, or what other thoughts do you have on that?
and I love some of the work of Brene Brown around shame. Like we shame ourselves into I should do this, I ought to do that. And that's so not helpful. You can say, I want to feel better. And that can help. Like I want to have more energy later today. And so I know what could happen in order for that energy to happen. But we know we should do something. And one of the things I teach in yoga is that somatic response is, so I don't feel like doing anything. Like I do not want to move. And I sit with that. I'm like, where is that stuckness? Where does that stuckness live in my body? Like, what is that? Am I afraid of pain? Like, is movement going to cause my joints pain? Am I going to get too tired to do other things later on? So, what's behind that inertia? Like, what's behind that lack of motivation? And that to me is where the rubber hits the road, is that where does that live in your physical body? And holding space for that can really change whatever is next.
Yeah, I love what you just brought up because that was a relatively new concept for me.
Mm,
I within the last 2 or 3 years, I'd say I learned that emotions physically live within your body. It is a mental game. It is a feeling in your soul, but they have physical manifestations that exist in your body. And so working with, where is my anxiety? Where is my motivation? Where is my nervousness? And now as I have a child, teaching him to recognize those things as well. With a myeloma diagnosis, whether you are the caregiver or the patient, your life might have been already pretty stressful. And now you have this explosion of added doctor visits, trying to educate yourself about the disease, the stresses of the actual medications, financial stress, et cetera, added on. And I
mm,
just love the idea of being aware of your body and what it's going through, and almost like honoring
yeah.
that.
Yeah, there's some powerful work by like Bessel van der Kolk and some of the trauma informed work that is happening now, like Louise Hay and some of the people who have done the woo woo edge of that work forever. That the issues live within your tissues, but
Mm.
there's some really great clinical work going on right now with that somatic work about yeah. And then when we take medications that change, like I love the example of steroids, how sometimes it
Mm.
makes people anxious. It raises your sugar, it raises your cortisol. So the medication itself changes your brain chemistry. And how do you change your thinking with your thinking? It's like you have to change your thinking with your feeling. And that to me is like, ooh, I don't want to be vulnerable with what I'm feeling. Gross. No, like you
Yeah.
know so it's fascinating, and I kind of love the evidence-based practice of some of this stuff, because otherwise it's just too woo-woo for me. It's too
Mhm.
you know
Yeah.
bad teacher, like ugh.
Well, Kim, thank you so much for this time that you shared with us, for your expertise and talents, and most importantly, just your passion. You can tell how much you care about this. You can tell how much it means to you. And I just thank you for taking the time. Do you have any closing remarks before we finish up for today?
I'm just so grateful to everyone who came and who danced or sat and laughed at my goofy movements. But yeah, I'm so glad you were here, and thank you again for the opportunity to chat. And I can't wait to scope out HealthTree more. Looks like there
Yeah.
are tons of resources you have, so that's very exciting.
Yeah,
So
my team and I work really hard to provide all the resources. So thank you. And we look forward to connecting again in the future, Kim. Thank you.
See you soon. Take care.
Thank you. We're going to let Kim go, and I'll just finish up with a couple of outro announcements. July is a break month for us, so we have less events, but we do have events starting in August. We're going to have our SoCal regional chapter, and then more August events are being published on the website and will be shared with you. And I'm just making sure that you can see the screen. There we go. Might have taken a minute to load on your computer. Another thank you to our sponsors, Amgen, AbbVie, Adaptive Biotechnologies, Janssen Oncology, Genentech, and Bristol Myers Squibb. And thank you to each of you for joining us, for dancing with us, or for watching, or if you're watching the recording, thank you for being here. Hope you all have a great rest of your day. Take care. Bye-bye.